Yes, guys, we are back. It's been some chill time for everyone in the FPL community, but we're back in FPL mode now because teams are returning from the internationals. We've got football this weekend, and then we've got game week 31 game week 30 with a Tuesday deadline next week. I'm joined by regular co-host Mr. Dean Jones. Dean, how are you? How's the eye?
Oh, the eye's okay, yeah. I mean, I was supposed to do a video yesterday. It's fine now. But this one was all swollen underneath here. Just went for a kickabout with the kids the other night. And two of the three of us, an hour later, had like swollen eyes, red eye. So something in that park didn't agree with us. But so I was going to do a general video yesterday to go out on CGA. But trust me, it wouldn't have been a good sight. You could do without it. We can talk about most of the stuff today. Anyway, it feels a bit like the COVID break at the moment. I mean, it's just like so non-eventful. Watched a bit of the international stuff, obviously, mainly with an eye on FPL. Wasn't that much games of interest that were general, But I'm definitely getting bored. So I'm ready for it, mate. I'm ready for it. But obviously, like the FA Cup straight back on the back of the international break isn't ideal in some ways, but with the Chris Wood thing, maybe it helps a little bit because at least we know where we stand, and then we'll get even on the back of that game. We'll get another update once they play.
Yeah, more touch points, isn't it? Like those teams that are involved in the FA Cup, we now get the pre and post match comments from managers for the FA Cup games, as well as all the pre-match for the press conferences for the Premier League fixtures. So that will be useful, which we'll get a ton of on Monday. In fact, Monday night will be really eventful, I guess, because we'll be reacting to a lot of comments from managers from those Monday press conferences.
Yeah.
It's good to see some of our familiar faces back in the chat, our chasers. I'm expecting there'll still be a few chasers that are taking a bit of a break that maybe don't come back and watch us till next week. There'll be loads that maybe watch on catch up. But hello to Paul and Geddy and Brian. Good to see you all in the house. I think I saw Freddie and Colin there as well. Malachi's in the house, Sigurd as well. So thank you guys all for your support as always. We'll have some time for some questions later. We don't want to lock in any strong opinions on this show. We're just going to go through all the headlines, really. We don't want to lock in strong opinions because there is still so much to change over the weekend.
There is, yeah.
I mean, how are you feeling, Dean? Like, where are you at in terms of your season, your chip strategy, your moves this week? Let's just give an update on both of our teams.
Yeah, so I've still got to use assistant manager chip, a wild card, and a free hit. So given the amount of time left, like the majority of my time is going to be spent using chips. Yeah, so that's good. The problem is that I don't know when to play them. The assistant manager one is causing me a bit of problem. I think the Crystal Palace Fulham game is the one that's most important this weekend. From a personal perspective, but also an FPL perspective. Because we're waiting to see if Crystal Palace obviously have that double-double. And that will be key to me deciding on this wild card assistant manager setup that I'm going to have. So that's key. And obviously also Mateta being part of that for everyone's plans too. With a Chris Wood absence, bringing... If you don't want Wood anymore, you don't want to wait on that, you could just bring in Mateta, especially if he's got a double-double coming up.
Mateta's stock's going to go through the roof because he'll start versus Fulham. It looks like he's back in training. If you're not sure who to buy this week, guys, it's all on Palace and Newcastle. Like two good teams with good fixtures, and they're the only two teams with a confirmed double in 32. And they're the only two teams that will double in 32. Worry about the 33 doubles later in a way because Palace and Newcastle shouldn't be slept on. I will have 6 players this week already from those two teams because for Newcastle, you get Brentford at home, good fixture. Brentford always give you chances. And then I think it's Ipswich and then a double game week. And for Palace, you get Southampton, can't remember who else, and then a double game week. Like, just buy those players. And if you're on wildcard now, you're probably wildcarding in 6 from those two teams. Which I completely understand. And then, off the back of the FA Cup, we will know about teams that double and blank. We'll go through some of the injuries in a second, and we'll go through the fixtures, and we've got some data to show you as well. In terms of my team, I'm looking at, as I mentioned, stocking up on Newcastle, Palace. It means buying Jacob Murphy this week for Cole Palmer. Who would have thought I'd be making that move? And that allows me to get Haaland in for Cunha on a 4-point hit. And I think Haaland is central to my thinking I don't know if he'll be central to everyone's, but when you look at the captaincy matrix for the next 5-6 weeks, an exercise I did earlier today, you're not going to be captaining Salah much at all. In fact, when I look at 30 to 35, so 6 game weeks, I am captaining probably Haaland 3 times and Isak 3 times.
Interesting.
Yeah, it makes me think like, yes, I want Salah in my team still, but in terms of captaincy, maybe not quite so popular. Because the fixtures are so good for Isak and Haaland on any given week. Like they both got Leicester in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, so obviously, like, I don't know if you saw the goal as well that Alex Isak scored on Tuesday,
and the assist,
Like he took it superbly. The game before that, he played an hour when Sweden lost to Luxembourg. So he's being kept in shape. He's keeping his form. So very difficult to argue that you can afford to overlook Alex Isak. And I think Haaland is similar. I think he has to be in your team as we sit here right now. He scored for Norway in a 5-0 win over, I think, Moldova. They played first. And then he also scored in the 4-2 win over Israel. His record this season for club and country is 46 games, 43 goal contributions.
Wow.
Now, obviously, like his actual personal aim is always to score more goals than games he's actually played. So he's letting himself down. But in the general world, that's still a really good return from a player that is not in the form that is perceived to be as good as previously. So totally agree with you on Isak and Haaland. And with Mo Salah, I think it's interesting. But one thing that did jump out at me in the international break was the return of Cody Gakpo. So Gakpo played for the Netherlands and played very well and scored. He scored.
Right. I missed that.
Yes. So Gakpo's back. So this is it. Like now we have to obviously I was burned by Gakpo. I think I had him in 3 game weeks and didn't get anything from him. Like complete wasted pick from me. It was a poor call in the end. But I was counting on him being back, and he just took longer than I thought. But
Slot does take his time and playing him back in after an injury, doesn't he?
He does, and like it's a bit annoying that he took so long. Yet for Netherlands, he played 90 minutes and then 78 minutes.
Did he?
They didn't mess about at all. He's back, like he's fully fit. So that was a bit annoying. Liverpool obviously at home to Everton, so I'm tempted to get him in one-eye wild card, mainly because I think he's the best asset outside of Salah. And whether that means you're still sticking with Salah and you get Gakpo, or you're just like, okay, I'm going to sacrifice Salah and bring in another Liverpool player. I think it's Gakpo. So that's where I sit. What's where I sit on that one.
Nice. Well, look, there's going to be loads selling. When you look at the most sold, like Chris Wood's going to be sold en masse this week. Cunha, there's still a lot of Cunha sellers out there. I'm one of them. I've still got him, but I know he. And by the way, Cunha's ban has been extended another game in the international break. So that was another talking point. So mid-price forwards like Gakpo, but Jean-Philippe Mateta will be the obvious one because of his doubles and stuff. In terms of other injuries, we'll go through them in a second. First, though, Dean, let's just check out the FA Cup fixtures this weekend, because the FA Cup fixtures this weekend will be useful just to check some of the players' availability and fitness. So when we're talking about Crystal Palace, for example, I want to see Mateta get through that game unscathed. I want to see him ready to go for the midweek round. Same with players like Munoz coming back from South America. The teams that qualify out of this, that make it to the semi-finals, will very likely have a double game week in 33 and a blank in 34. So let's assume Palace beat Fulham. Palace should then get a double in 33 and then blank in 34. Same with Man City and Bournemouth. But there's a lot of games here. The 3 games that involve Premier League versus Premier League, really difficult to call. Like many will say City are favourites for Bournemouth, and I guess they are slightly, but Bournemouth have got home advantage. Brighton Forest, again, Forest may be certainly better this season, but then Brighton with recent form and home advantage. Palace Fulham is a coin toss. Like all 3 of these games could lead to completely different scenarios for blanks and doubles in 33, 34, not just for these teams, but their opponents who then would also get the double game week. So really important we can react to this, hopefully on Sunday night. Now, the Premier League won't schedule those double and blank fixtures on Monday. They just won't. They'll probably schedule them the end of that week. So we'll probably go into the game week 30 deadline not knowing if the teams 100% get doubles and blanks, but we'll probably be able to assume with caution, but with the likes of Ben Crellin giving us a percentage chance.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty nailed that Palace would be 33, right? Like,
should be, yeah.
So that's why it's important, because if Palace are doubling in 33 and they're doubling in 32, then I'm wildcarding in 30, and then assistant manager will be 31, 32, 33, and I'll probably just keep it on Glasner for all 5 games that they've got.
Yeah,
and like that's probably fine.
And
like
Munoz and Mateta, who would be your 3? Glasner versus and 2. Would you Eze or Sar? Munoz, Mateta. Probably.
Munoz, Mateta, I think. Yeah,
they're the 2 for me as well. If you're running,
yeah. So that's kind of what I'm waiting on this weekend. So yeah, a huge match for me, because obviously I want Fulham to win it. I want Fulham to get through to an FA Cup semi-final. But if Fulham lose, then it benefit me in this world at least. So.
And then Man City getting a double at Haaland, he'd be a lock on your wild card as well, because you're not going to go without Haaland when he's got Leicester and then a double game week. And again, that could also mean he gets a double later on in the season. He could have 2 doubles if City beat Bournemouth.
Exactly, yeah. So that is a harder game to call than it should be, really. You'd think that City would be odds-on favourites normally to win in a quarter-final against Bournemouth, but that's not the way that the season's going at the moment. So I wouldn't say it is that far. I expect Brighton to beat Forest.
I think I do as well, especially without Chris Wood.
Without Wood, I think that Forest are going to have caution in this game.
It shouldn't be a priority for them, really.
It shouldn't be, really. I mean, it's too far from glory. Like, I feel like they're closer to glory of finishing 3rd than they are to winning an FA Cup.
Yeah.
And I just think it's more important. But obviously, like, Forest fans would love to have an FA Cup success.
I saw someone tweet a couple of minutes ago saying something along the lines of, if Chris Wood's out for one of Forest's biggest games in their recent history, then he definitely won't make game week 30. I think he's probably right. He won't make game week 30. This isn't one of Forest's biggest games in their recent history. I'd argue the Premier League game in game week 30 and 31 is bigger than this quarterfinal versus Brighton. Get the Champions League.
Well, people are saying the same about Fulham. Like, for Marco Silva, people are saying, is this the biggest game Marco Silva's ever had as Fulham manager? And he's had some really big games at Fulham, but you're because it's opening up now. You're like, okay, you win this game, you're in a semi-final at Wembley, so you've got that day out. But you're also in a situation where, especially if Man City do go out, it opens up to you actually being able to win the FA Cup. And usually, it's just not something that you're going to have the opportunity to do. And even if you do get to the final, you end up playing against a Liverpool or a Man City or a Man United, and, just their pedigree ends up telling on that day. So that might not happen this time around. Obviously, I'll have a dilemma on my hands if Fulham get to an FA Cup final, because I'm a long way away from Wembley, and I don't know how I'd feel about missing that moment. But yeah, there's a lot to consider on the back of these FA Cup games. I actually think, Villa look almost favourites to go and win the FA Cup from here, to be honest. I think that when you consider their situation in the league compared to their opportunity here in the FA Cup, I think that they're nicely set. So I think, given the draw they've got as well, and they've basically got one foot in the semi-final, as long as they treat Preston with some respect, but also go and beat them 3-0 like they should do. This is a mid-table team in the Championship. We've seen teams from the Championship cannot survive in the Premier League. 2 years in a row now, the teams that have come up to the Premier League, the best 3 teams, can't survive. So Villa surely should be able to push aside a team that is currently, I don't know where they are, 14th or something in the Championship. So I do expect that to happen. Paul's asking to see a wild card draft. Yeah, we don't have that today, Paul, but it's hard to do a wild card draft before we see the outcomes of these games, to be honest. So next week will be the time.
Monday.
Yeah, exactly. From Monday, that becomes a lot more valid. I mean, nobody should be making transfers right now anyway. Nobody should even be committing to a chip right now, really, because so much could happen. But obviously, a lot of people will now wildcard in 30.
Yeah, and if you're on wildcard, as I mentioned, it's 6 from Palace and Newcastle. It's Haaland and Salah for me. And then you need a load of midfield enablers, but we have got a ton of good enablers. You can look at the Bournemouth mids. Jacob Murphy and Ismail Assar from the 2 teams mentioned are great enablers. Someone Enzo Fernandez even isn't a bad shout. He scored for Argentina again against Brazil as day 1 4-1. But let's talk about some of the injured players. I say injured. International break injuries and going off for your country when you've got a Premier League game 10 days later doesn't mean you're going to be injured for the Premier League. But players that have gone off injured that just come to mind. Mykolenko, he's in my team, like common one. Gvardiol, again, really popular, one of the most highly owned defenders in the game.
Yeah, Guardiola, by the way, had done such a good job on Dembele and Mbappe in the first game. I don't know if you saw that one, but he did a really good job
for me for Croatia to win that first leg. Yeah, I didn't see the game. Did he play well then? Okay.
In the first game, yeah, he did. Obviously, it went to extra time in the second, and now he's an injury doubt. But so that's a disappointing one. Konate, obviously, as well. I mean, doesn't seem too serious on Konate. I think by the time this all comes back around, Konate is probably going to be okay, but still treat that one with some caution because, he was taken out of the first game and didn't then play that second game for France. So got to be careful. Anthony Robinson's an interesting one. Obviously, a lot of people like Anthony Robinson. Didn't play either game for USA.
That's not good.
They had an absolute disastrous couple of games.
I saw the Panama goal.
No.
So do we think he's in? So he's clearly injured then, Robinson, because he's in a ton of teams.
I mean,
he was playing centre mid for Poch when he last international break.
Yeah, I'm assuming he still plays for Fulham this weekend.
I guess we'll know because the FA Cup we'll know, which is good.
This is it. So when you're this again, such a big game, this Palace Fulham one, which probably gonna have a wider audience than it would normally get actually with FPL eyes on it. But Robinson is an extra one to look out for as well, just to check that he is in that lineup. Because if he's not, then he won't be playing on the Tuesday. You'd imagine. Like if he's not playing this weekend, that it clearly does have some sort of problem that's going to rule him out of that Arsenal game.
I've not checked yet, but I think I saw this a couple of weeks ago. I don't think Robinson has missed a minute for Fulham all Premier League season. I think his minutes goes 90. So that would be, USA are Spursy now, says Geddy. Poch out. Yeah. Trent is another one. Like I own Trent. Trent's not going to be around. Trent's not going to be around for a few weeks. And then what do you make of Trent as an asset, Dean, moving forward? Like, are they going to just go, the league's probably won. We need to know, we need to give Bradley game time. So we're ready. He's ready for next season. And we need to just confirm that it is Bradley and we're not going into the market in the summer. So do you feel like Trent will get a ton of games when back fit? Or do you feel like Bradley will be given a nod in 50% of those games?
I think that they will bring him in cautiously. It's not just about the injury now. It's about the fan reaction to Trent, which has been extremely over the top in my eyes. Trent's been leaving Liverpool for months. It just couldn't become common knowledge. And Real Madrid gave Liverpool some level of respect by staying quiet until now. The only reason it started to creep out now is because Liverpool and Real Madrid can't meet each other in the Champions League. There was kind of a silent gentleman's agreement that if we were to play each other, we wouldn't want that to be overshadowing it, because the storyline, whatever. So let's just leave it. But now that obviously that can't happen, it's part of the reason that the information around his contract is being leaked. Obviously, Geddy says Conor Bradley is injured as well, isn't he? He didn't play for Northern Ireland. Yeah, obviously he's been out. So they've got that issue to contend with. But they've got to balance both things, the present and the future. So Conor Bradley is obviously going to have a big chance here to get in that Liverpool team. But they also won't want to make too big a thing of Trent, I don't think, in terms of just freezing him out. I don't think that that's what they're looking for here. Ultimately, it's Liverpool's fault for not giving him a contract sooner. This isn't a situation where Trent has been a contract rebel and turned down multiple great contract offers. Yeah. It's that he hasn't had an offer on the table, and out of nowhere in October, Real Madrid became really serious about trying to sign him, and very few people are able to turn that opportunity down. So I wouldn't have him. I haven't had him all season, so I'm obviously not picking him now. But
I'm selling him as soon as possible. Annoyingly, I can't sell him this week because I need to get Haaland in. I need a cash cow. Now, Trent would be a cash cow for many, but when you're going Cunha to Haaland, as I am, that means selling Trent to what, a 3 million defender, and there isn't any. So, and I've got money in the bank. So I'm going to have to wait another week on Trent, which is annoying because his price is obviously dropping. He ain't playing in game week 31. He'll have to be my sell in game week 31. So yeah, that's where I'm at. He's obviously a hard sell.
Yeah, I mean, DK says Trent will be playing to not get injured before the move. I mean, I don't really think that'll be the case because sorry, the plug just fell out of my laptop there. I mean, Trent. It's not like Trent goes in for loads of 50-50 tackles, is it? Like,
Yeah,
he's not throwing himself around the pitch, so I don't think that side of things is really going to have too much effect on him.
Dean, let's talk about some of the most transferred in players of the game week so far, because FPL tweeted earlier today 3 players that have been clearly the most popular assets to bring in, and they probably won't surprise you. Bruno, 17 points last time out. There's always a Man United tax. He wasn't that highly owned. I understand it. I think he's a good enough pick. I don't think he's a great pick because the fixtures aren't pretty for Man United now. Like, you've just had Leicester. That was the time to bring him in, not necessarily after the Leicester game.
Yeah.
Let us know in the chat which of these 3 you've bought in or who you think is the must-have amongst the group, because I think there is one clear must-have here. Marmoush is short, like outscored Haaland last time out, been fine. He's an entry to the Man City attack for those that can't afford Haaland, which is quite a lot. And he's got Leicester, and he's going to have some double game weeks if City beat Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I don't mind this move at all. But then Isak didn't even play in 29. And so many, the most bought is often though those that banged big the week before. The fact that Isak had 0 points last time out and is still the 3rd most popular player to bring in this week shows how clear and obvious it is to get Isak in your team if you don't own him. Brentford, followed by Ipswich, followed by double game week. Both fixtures are at home to Palace and I think it's Man United.
He's flying. He's
so good, isn't he? I was a bit worried when he came off in the cup final because I was like, oh, is he now like, because we knew there was a bit of a race against the clock to be fully fit for that cup final, but he played the Premier League game before it.
He played more than I thought in the cup final, to be honest. Would he get 80 minutes in the end? Like,
yeah. And he was great in that. We haven't spoken since Carabao Cup final, have we?
No. I mean, coming into it, I was told, like, he's not at 100%. They just hope they can get at least an hour out of him.
Yeah.
But they don't know what his sharpness is going to be. I mean, it was as good as he's been for ages.
Yeah, and then for Sweden, as we saw, like, did he play both games for Sweden?
Yeah, so he didn't play the full one in the first one. Like, he got an hour or so in the first game. But then obviously, yeah, they had an easy win in the second, and he great assist and scores that lovely goal. So he's fine. He's absolutely fine here.
And he needs to get Newcastle Champions League football next season, right? They think they can finish 5th.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't. If he does get them Champions League, he's going to stay at Newcastle if they get Champions League football. And it's basically up to him whether they get Champions League football. So it's a very strange situation for Newcastle because it depends on how many goals he scores as to whether they qualify for the Champions League, which will depend on whether he ends up staying with them. And if he doesn't score enough goals and they don't finish in the top 5, then he'll probably join Liverpool. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But either way, for Isak, he can't really lose at this point.
He's such an obvious buy. I was looking to that captaincy matrix earlier. I'm just going to bring it up on my screen. I'll just so I can share it with you. Where, like, the next 6 game weeks, I'm thinking I will be going Haaland, Leicester at home, Isak, Leicester away. Game week 32, Isak has a double. Mateta does too, but it'll be one of them. Isak has Man United and Palace. Game week 33, Haaland probably has a double. Everton Villa. Game week 34, Isak has Ipswich. Salah has Tottenham, by the way. Game week 35, Haaland has Wolves. Salah has Chelsea. Like, the next 6 game weeks, it's 3 Isak, 3 Haaland. Like, that is why there are managers out there willing to not go without, well, to go without Mo Salah. I personally still think you should have Mo Salah in your team, but there's an argument to say if you're not going to captain him, do you need him? And you need Isak and Haaland to be firing and fit, of course. I mean, such an obvious buy.
I still think there'll be plenty of people that captain Salah against Everton.
Yes. If you don't own Haaland, you have to, right? I'd rather captain Salah than Marmoush, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think that... Liverpool is still very important. Like, not only is it Merseyside derby, but they still are, like, they've got to win the league. It's not won yet. It's all they've got left to do now. So he'll play all the games. So that's another reason. So I still think Salah can go toe to toe with Haaland from here on out, to be honest.
We should do a captaincy poll: Haaland or Salah.
Yeah, I don't think that there's as much reason to not captain Salah as a lot of people will believe there to be. He's been so consistent. Like, what you think of like the way he gets his goal. Obviously a lot of pens involved in there, but he still had an extremely good season. His directness is great. When he cuts inside from the right and he goes for that far corner, you pretty much can't do anything about it. But he doesn't sort out his contract situation either. That's going to become more of a situation as we get towards the end of this season, particularly if they do tie up the league by what we're looking like the second week of April or whatever, third week of April. I think the third. Then we'll have a situation then for the last month or so as to where they are with Van Dijk and Salah, and it's not looking great. So they need to fix that as well. I'm just trying to read these comments here. 1 second.
We're going to do a poll, which just says,
yeah.
will you own Haaland in game week 30? Yes or no?
Yeah. Okay. So the last one was who would you captain?
Hang on.
Sorry. There's only 18 votes, but yeah, who would you captain game week 30? Salah or Haaland is up at the moment.
Oh, okay. Well, that poll needs to be caveated with that they're both in your team. So this isn't, because obviously Salah's got way higher ownership. So this poll wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be a fair test. So guys, assuming you have both players in your team, who is the better captaincy option? Salah versus Everton, Haaland versus Leicester. Like, if you own both, get voting. And then I'm just going to do a simple poll, or ask for a simple poll to be done. Will Haaland be in your game week 30 team? Yes or no? Because I think that's going to be split. I think there'll be 50, 60% of you that don't even own Haaland, which is, fine. You have to rip up your team to get him in, I imagine. I am. I'm taking a 4-point hit and selling Cole Palmer, who I think is an okay asset now. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I had an interesting one from Edley a minute ago. He said, Dean and G, is it possible to catch up when you're 115 points down in your mini league? I mean, yeah, obviously this is going to completely depend on what your chips are left, mate, compared to what those guys ahead of you have. I would give you the benefit of the doubt here and hope that maybe they've used their assistant manager and you haven't, maybe. If that's the
56
case.
points I got from the assistant manager chip, like that's you're halfway there just off that. And then you're looking at 5 points a week. So yeah, you can. But
so for me and
chips
in my friends mini league, I'm 50 points behind the leader, but I haven't played my assistant manager chip yet. So I'm kind of banking on that. And it's similarly, actually, Big Man's top of our like little CGA team between me, you, him, and our producers. I'm less than 50 behind him, and he's obviously used his. So like, if I can nail that assistant managership, then I'm good. But like, it's
mate, Glasner will sort you out. Glasner's the assistant.
He might, but if Palace don't double, I'm not so sure about it.
Yeah, but you'd still use a transfer and get to a doubler in 33 anyway.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
because you are gonna, so you're getting a double, just maybe not.
Yeah, I mean that is true. Yeah, that is true. And even the alternative at this point is obviously to wait until those last few game weeks of the season when you get another double. But it then also becomes very unpredictable in terms of who you're catching. What is your overall rank at the moment, Dean? 490k is my current overall.
Okay, there's 3 points between us.
Is there really? I haven't even looked at that.
Just checked it. 3 points between us. I've gone from 1.3 million to 520k. I think.
Yeah, your chips paid off and your transfers. Yeah, you've done well.
Paid off mass because I free hit last week, so that massively paid off.
Yeah, see, so I've got to nail this. Like, it's all very well. Like, I've got the free hit still in my back pocket. I've got the assistant manager in my back pocket, but it's like having games in hand. It only counts if you win the games in hand, right? So, a bit of pressure on me to make sure I actually do pull it off. I mean, to be honest, if I end up beating you and Big Man, there's going to be forfeits on the table, mate.
Yeah, absolutely should be. There should be. Hey, what's going to be hilarious if I go and beat Big Man after the season I've had? Like, imagine that. Like, I still think that I've got a chance. My team now is very different to the template teams.
Yeah,
the template teams or the template chip strategy is Big Man's, right? Which is to wildcard in a week or two and then to free hit around 33 or 34. I'm on a completely different strategy to that. I've already free hit and I'll be wildcarding in the blank of 34. So for the next couple of weeks, I could get some marginal gains and then it could nosedive. Like I'm going to have 6 Palace and Newcastle players. I don't know if Big Man will, for example. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Mohit says Isak's in the middle of a contract negotiation. He's turned down the first offer. He could be just. He hasn't actually turned down the first offer. That's not quite correct. I've seen that reported in the last couple of days, but I don't believe that to be true. Actually, he's kind of just waiting. Like he's waiting to see what happens. And if Newcastle were going to keep him, he's got to become the highest earner at the club. They've got to break their wage structure. And it would make no sense for Alex Isak in this moment in time to sign a new contract at Newcastle. Like he might as well, he's waited this long. He might as well just keep waiting, and then see what's coming out in the wash at the end of the season. But what I do know is that Liverpool, they've been linked, and I checked it out yesterday a bit more detail, and they are serious about trying to sign Alex Isak, and I think that they've got word that he might be more gettable than we were all thinking he might be. I don't know whether that's on the price. I don't know whether that's on his headspace or what he's thinking. But I would suggest that they are just waiting to see if Newcastle make the Champions League. And if they don't, then that £125 million figure comes down. And also you're then able to pay that in installments too. You don't have to pay that all up front. Like this isn't a release clause. This is just a valuation. Yeah. So yeah, there's lots to look out for them, but not really going to affect him. All he's going to do is, as far as I'm concerned, is banging in goals. I don't think his contract's not going to stop him from scoring goals.
Absolutely flying right now. Guys, there were 51% of you said you'd captain Salah over Haaland. So really 50-50 vote there. Will you own Haaland in game week 30? Completely different question. Interesting nonetheless. And it's a 50-50. 54 saying yes.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Haaland. It's proper interesting. CH says, hi, Chaser fam. I didn't get a notification.
Oh, no, what?
CH. CH definitely has the bell hit. She's got the bell active. So
phone must have been on sleep mode, CH. Make sure it's not. But welcome back. We missed you. If
Gianni beats Big Man should have to change his name to Midman, says FPL Discomfort. Love that. Mid-table mediocrity for anyone that I beat.
What if it comes down to that last week and we're all... It's plausible that all three of us could be very tight in the last few game weeks.
Yeah, I will go rogue on captaincy in game week 38 if I need to.
That would be fun. We'd have to do a live one, a live arrows to end the season. Let's see who comes out on top. That'd be funny.
Captain, like I don't know, Ismail Assar or something. Okay, guys, I saw some interesting data on Twitter earlier, and I want to show you this comparison chart. This is really cool. I was going to do a whole video about this on my channel, but I thought, no, let's bring it on Chasing Green Arrows and do it live and we can react to it. I want to get Dean's take as well. This is from a handle I hadn't come across, Backhod FPL. They've looked at the XG each team has accumulated at different points of the season to see if they are on an upward or downward trajectory. Now, there's a 10-game sample size for all of these. So it's a big enough sample size. Yes, you can say in that 10 games, X team had really easy fixtures. But over 10 games, the fixtures often kind of balance out. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting, look at teams at Arsenal. As expected, Arsenal were 1.7, 1.99, and then in the last 10, 1.16. And you would all predict that, right? You go, no Havertz, no Saka. We've seen the results. We've watched the games. You expect it to be dipping. Mm-hmm. Just looking at Aston Villa, again, also on a downward trajectory. Even Bournemouth, downward trajectory, but again, still a very good overall number there. 1.82 Bournemouth. That's a very, very high. That's higher than Arsenal. Chelsea, I know the results haven't been great for Chelsea, but the XG has been super good. Yeah. All season long, Chelsea are the second highest. Liverpool are, of course, the highest. Crystal Palace is the one that jumps out for me, though. 1.25 at the start of the season. They've almost doubled that. They're now clocking over 2 XG a game. That's and again, we've seen the games. This is evidence backing up what we probably think we already know. But it's really nice to know this when committing to a Mateta or a Sara or a Daniel Munoz.
Yeah. And Eze is obviously one as well that we haven't discussed at all. But
Eze is one of Big Man's go-to players. Like Eze and Bruno are the two. I expect Big Man will be looking to buy him. Although I don't know if he's on pens or Mateta's on pens. I don't know if anyone knows the answer to that. But yeah, Eze looked good for England, didn't he?
He did. Very direct. I liked it.
I mean, Leicester, I just no hope, like 0.96 and now 0.64, but down.
Dead team.
Liverpool still putting up good numbers. City a little bit better than that mid 11 to 20 where they had a real wobble, getting a bit better, maybe you could say. Newcastle, again, like you might expect them to have grown into it, but they've been perhaps had a little shaky spell, but still putting up good numbers. So I think for me, like the big headline here is Crystal Palace and actually Chelsea. There's a lot of Cole Palmer sellers out there. In fact, Cole Palmer is the most sold player of the game week by some distance. I'm selling Cole Palmer this week. I do think he's still a good option if you can afford to keep him. Like I can't because it's my only way to Haaland. But knowing they've got Spurs, and I think in a game or two they've got Ipswich, if he's fit, I actually think Chelsea will be good and for the run-in, and I think Palmer will be a good option again. But
when you got Tottenham, it's a good time to count him to come good. But I haven't got him anymore, and I'm not getting him back.
And you're not worried about that because
I'm not worried. No.
I'm not either. Yeah, there was a time I'd be worried about not owning Cole Palmer.
Enough people have now ditched him or aren't. Going to keep the faith in him that I don't think I need to have concern about it. But obviously he's going to bang again. Like Palmer's not going to go from here to the end of the season without goals. Like that's surely implausible. So we'll get burned on it a little bit, but you just got to hope that whoever you've got in the meantime has made up for it, and you're onto those doublers to get more points than he's going to get.
Yeah, exactly that, mate. Look at Spurs. Start the season, 1.98 was actually pretty useful. Like they were they were the highest team in the first 10 game weeks, and then just like they've dropped massively. Yeah, and Man United as well, like slight improvement, but still not brilliant. Like one.
But Man United's last couple of games have actually been much, much better.
Yeah,
their last 2 wins have actually been like, okay, there's actually something here. Like whether they can
just the opponents though.
Possibly, but at least like it doesn't in the past. It doesn't matter whose it's been; they've still been poor. So at least they are starting to put something together that you could kind of be like, okay, we can start to take this seriously. We can start to believe in it. I think Nottingham Forest away is a tough fixture for United. I still think that the Bruno isn't a terrible pick by any stretch of the imagination. I wouldn't have him in a wild card, but I don't think he's a bad pick on a wild card. He's certainly in form right now.
No, I saw Let's Talk FPL has hit the wildcard button and he's gone Bruno. I don't know if he will continue with Bruno, but his first half is Bruno in, which I found but then he had no Salah. So if you're not going Salah, of course you can afford Bruno and then Burmo instead of say a Salah and an Enzo.
Yeah, I assume Dorgu's back soon. I mean, what's this?
Oh yeah, it must be.
Has he got one more left, or
I reckon he's probably available this
he might be available by now. I can't remember how many games he's set out. It's been so long now.
I was gutted I couldn't pick him on free hit, you know. Oh, do you remember we had that discussion, Mazraoui or Dalot? I got so unlucky because I was on Dalot. I ended up going Mazraoui because a few United fans did say, look, just go Mazraoui. But then because of the injury to the kid, Mazraoui went to centre-back and then Dalot got an assist from wing-back and then got bonus points with it. It was a difference of 5 points, but whatever.
Oh, no. I think Dorgu's back, yeah. I think Dorgu... I think so, yeah. Dorgu set to miss the games against Arsenal and Leicester. So I think he's back, yeah. Let me know if otherwise going.
Yeah, his flag's come off. His flag's come off, I think.
So, an interesting one. Certainly, like he plays so high up down there. And United can actually finish the season strongly. I actually think they can. I'm certainly believing in them more. And a lot of people have got a lot to play for right now.
Quiz question in the chat. Dean, you can play as well. Patrick Dorgu has started 3 Premier League games for Man United since he joined. What is it? No cheating, guys. What is his total FPL points to date? He started 3 games. How many points do you reckon he's got? Guesses in the chat. Go nuts, guys. Go nuts with your guesses. We'll flash a few of them up.
It hasn't gone well. I know that much. It hasn't gone well.
By the way, guys, we do have some memberships to gift today, so stay tuned for that. Yeah.
Lovely.
We've got 0, 0, 10, 12, 1, 3, 4, 5, -2, 8, 10, no clue, 4. Some good 25. No, in those 3 games, guys. Okay, those three games were Tottenham, where United lost 1-0. Everton, where United drew 2-2. So 2 1-pointers in those games for Dorgu, played 90 and 90. And then he got sent off after 42 minutes for a -3. So he's on
wow.
-1 is total points.
Oh my God.
He's on the second page of the Man United defenders list on FPL website because he's on minus. So he's like the bottom ranked player.
Yeah, well, that's not reflective of what we're going to see at the end of this season. Like Dorgu certainly makes the Man United team much better. So a lot of casuals won't be picking Dorgu, I don't think, because they'll forget he exists. So remember that Dorgu is still a good pick, despite all of that. The problem is you're probably relying on attacking points to come in rather than defensive ones. Forest, Man City, Newcastle. Tricky for United to keep clean sheets in those games, I would suggest. But and also United obviously going to have an eye on that Lyon game that's coming up because that's massive for them. They've got to win the Europa League this season.
Yeah. By the way, guys, for those that are selling Chris Wood, just check you're getting 1.31 XG even if he's fit per game. And I know Wood's been amazing, but just compare that with Palace at 2.08, like Mateta. I honestly think even if he's fit, Wood to Mateta is a really obvious transfer. So yeah, that's where we're at. Is any Man United players good picks? The fixtures are a bit rough now for the next handful of games. I personally don't even like Bruno as a transfer in. He's a fine pick, but it's Forest, Man City, Newcastle. That's a tough run of 3 games. They go to the City ground, the Manchester Derby, and then they go to St James's Park. Like, I'm okay calling it on Man United. And again, is the priority the Europa League? Probably, has to be. So yeah, there we go, guys. We'll come away from this graphic. But yeah, shout out Backhod FPL. Go check them out on Twitter. I thought I was really impressed with that graphic. I thought it's a ton of work as well.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll be looking for more on their channel. Dean, Saka's back in training. How do you feel about Saka for the run-in? Because Arsenal have got, maybe it'll come too soon for those on wildcard this week because you've got to be careful with him, although who knows with Emery. But if he's available by game week 31 or 32 comes the 12th of April. So we've got, it's 2 weeks away. The fixtures aren't bad. I mean, it's from 32, Brentford at home, which I always think is a good fixture when Brentford come to town because they'll always give you chances. And then Ipswich away, it's a good entry point. They've got a fine run in. They play Southampton still before the end of the season. I quite like jumping on an Arsenal player if we're on wild card. Maybe not an attacker, definitely a defender, but maybe in a couple of weeks, Saka will be back on the menu.
Yeah, he will be. I mean, obviously, the Real Madrid game is the one that he's going to be primed for. So they will be wanting to make sure they can get as close to 90 as they can, if needed, from Saka across those 2 games. The first leg of which is at home, so that's their big advantage. They've got to make the most of that home fixture against Real Madrid and look to take a lead to the Bernabeu if they're going to get through this one. So for the next couple against Fulham and Everton, I don't know if against Fulham he'll feature at all, but against Everton, if he features, they'll kind of treat it carefully, I would imagine, because they just have to put everything into that Real Madrid tie. So the Brentford fixture is sandwiched between the 2 legs of the Real Madrid game.
So he's going to
comes 4 days after. So I can't see him if he starts against Real Madrid on the 8th of April and it's his big comeback. I'll be surprised if he then starts another game 4 days later when another 4 days later they play the second leg in Madrid for a player that's been out for this long with an injury and is this important. I'd find it hard to believe they would do that, but we're only going to know once Arteta starts to speak. That doesn't really help us, does it? Once we start to see some video and get some insights from other people other than Arteta about where he's really at right now. So, there are a few Arsenal accounts out there like Team News and Tickets and guys like that. There's one called Hand of Ozil or something like that. But,
I saw they got something right.
There's a couple of Arsenal guys. There's another one too that I've seen before with some right information. So they're really the places you want to be looking for the Saka insight rather than Arteta, who's going to give you absolutely nothing.
I'm going to ask for a poll. Will you own Saka before the end of the season? Do you think you will? Yes, no. And we'll put a maybe in there. like, I think I'm in the maybe camp. Like, he's expensive. To find money for a Saka ain't going to be easy if you've got a Haaland and Salah draft. Because everyone that's got Haaland and Salah draft also has Isak. Like,
yeah, it could be fun once they go out to Real Madrid. On the 16th of April, they've then got Ipswich, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth. So, like, for that period, like if we have got a fit Saka and they are out of the Champions League, if that does happen,
I'm with you. The Champions League will matter there, won't it?
Yeah.
Like,
So
I'll jump on him for Ipswich.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it will come down to for me.
Yeah,
but obviously, last game of the season, by the way, Southampton versus Arsenal.
Oh, it'll be 8-0. Like Arsenal are they do this every season. The league's done, but they go and put in a 5-0 at the end of the season because it's like the pressure's off.
They will thump them. Ramsdale in goal. Oh no, will he be in goal? Will he play? No.
No, he's not on loan, is he? I think they bought him.
No, he's on loan.
You sure?
Yeah. Double check, but I'm 90% sure Ramsdale's on loan. That would have been quite funny.
No, they bought him.
What?
Yeah, join for 25 mil.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've had a moment there.
I think he's got a clause, a relegation.
Okay, maybe I'm getting confused because Ramsdale is not staying at Southampton. I think that's where I've. You've been looking at. That's where I've got. Anyway, that's better news for this because Ramsdale actually might be a good goalkeeper pick on the last day of the season. He's going to make so many saves.
I tell you who I would like to sign Ramsdale. My team.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't been linked with him more, to be honest. But
I think it's an obvious buy for Chelsea. We need a goalkeeper. We don't want to spend a ton of money on one. He's perfect. Yeah. I mean, he's not perfect. He's not my favourite keeper in the world, but he's a lot better than what we got.
He's a lot better than what you've got. Yeah. But you'll end up signing someone extremely random. Well, you want Verbruggen at Brighton. That's the guy that Chelsea are looking at.
I can't. We can't keep buying Brighton's players. There's something just so wrong about it. Oh, God. Yeah. Will you own Saka before the end of the season? Yes, no, or maybe. I'm voting maybe. And yeah, the vast majority of you are pretty fixed that he'll either be probably in your team, 43% maybe, or 50% yes. Only 7% are writing off saying no, he won't be there. Chelsea's best keeper is at Bournemouth, says Freddie. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Kepa. He's fine. He is probably slightly better than what we've got, but yeah.
Yeah. One thing we haven't discussed yet, and I've got to bring up, is Raul Jimenez. Because during the international break, Raul Jimenez has been absolutely sensational. He played 2 games for Mexico in the Nations League. Mexico scored 4 goals, won the Nations League, and Raul Jimenez scored all 4 goals across the 2 in the semi-final, and he got the 2 in the final. He scored a 1-on-1, he scored a free kick, he scored a header, and he scored a penalty. Like,
the free kick was insane, by the way. It was even better than Reece James's.
He's in extremely good shape and form right now, Raul Jimenez. He's featured in every Fulham game, I think, this season. Like, the injury concerns are pretty much gone. Dean has Muniz behind him. Yeah, exactly. But obviously, like, Fulham's next 2 games are Arsenal away, Liverpool home. So it's not like that appealing. But Raul Jimenez is 5.5 million. He's not the worst shout. Because Fulham do go to these teams. Fulham do score against these teams.
Yeah. No, it's just that 90-minute thing with Jimenez, isn't it? You know Muniz is coming on and getting 20 at the end of every game. So you're committing to a 70-minute man. But I like Jimenez too. Like, mate, I thought the performances for Mexico were, as you say, got to give a shout out there. Also, we have seen 3 amazing free kicks in the international break. Can anyone tell me the 3 best free kicks we've seen in the international break? Raul Jimenez is one. Who are the other 2?
So one's obviously Reece.
Yeah. There's one more, and it was an absolute banger. He's like a fine wine, is all I'm going to say. Anyone got it? Anyone got it?
I don't know if I've seen it.
He's so good. Someone's going to get it. I just know it. Our producer's got it.
Oh, really? Let me have a look.
Yeah,
because it's fun.
He's
right. I haven't seen that.
Probably my favourite ever player.
Oh, Discomfort's got it.
Come on, Andrea Pirlo. He was playing at the Spurs stadium for AC Milan legends versus Spurs legends. and he in just proper Pirlo. You just know he's sticking it top bins, and it's the same side of Raul Jimenez and Reece James for the right footer, so it's the same corner, and it is just poetry in motion. No one strikes a ball like Andrea Pirlo. No one, honestly. This guy, he should have won Ballon d'Ors. He was robbed. He was robbed.
I haven't seen that. I'm sure, didn't Tottenham batter him in that game?
I think it was 2-0, yeah.
No,
No,
it was
it was 2-0.
I thought it was about 5. I saw a clip, and I'm sure
Yeah,
Robbie Keane
scored.
Robbie Keane just kept scoring or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think they got like 5. But I didn't see that goal. No, that
mate,
didn't make it into my head.
Search it on 5-2. Apparently, says Bad Panda. Search it online. I've only just remembered we're 24 minutes in. No, sorry, we're not 24 minutes in. We're 51 minutes in, and I forgot to mention to like and subscribe. So, guys, we would love you to hit those buttons. Dean, give some reasons to subscribe for our chasers that are still a bit apprehensive. Because if I hit the subscribe button, I always like to say that you're then dictating the algorithm rather than the algorithm dictating you.
Yeah, I just think that like this is a channel. Like I've watched other FPL channels, and it's all very like do this. This is why. And I just feel like our channel is just a bit more colloquial, and like we try and welcome people in here. We're not saying like you have to do this. We're like, you could do this, you could do that. None of us claim to be the best player in the world, certainly least of all me. But like this is an FPL conversation, more like you might have with your mates, but you don't actually end up having with your mates. And along the way, I think we give enough informed opinion that you should be able to end up having a better season than you would have otherwise. Andy says, subscribe because they are chilled and informative. There you go. Like, that's kind of what I'm trying to say there, I think.
I like that. Thank you very much, Andy. That is lovely of you to say. Freddie says, love this channel. Very interactive. Cheers, Freddie. Appreciate that. Look, we want to thank you by giving away 5 memberships. But to do that, you've got to hit the like button and you've got to have subscribed. So make sure both those things are on. And in a minute, I'll tell you how you can win a membership. CH says, subscribe. 1, subscribe costs nothing, easy to do. 2, get your notifications on, and 3, the chasers are the best for the chat. Thank you, CH. All go with the rhythm and subscribe for the algorithm. There we go. So the memberships. How do you win a membership, and why would you want to win a membership? Well, the members, I'm not sure if we've actually done this today, but usually the members' comments are flashed up on screen all the time. Like, we engage the members at all costs when we're doing live streams. But also we do extra video content for members. I think I did a video yesterday. I'm not sure if it's been public, if it's been sent out yet, but there is a video there for you guys. And if it's not out, it will be by tomorrow. It is out. So yeah, loads of reasons to support the channel by being a member, but we're going to give away 5 free. And to win a membership, all you got to do is, spam the chat, I guess, right?
Should we
do that, Dean?
That's probably the easiest way to set it up, mate. Yeah, so get your comments in now. The memberships will be going out as soon as we get loads of you just posting.
Should we say post the name of your favorite ever footballer?
Yeah, why not? I'll start.
Galore. I've said Pirlo. Dean, who's yours?
Beckham.
Of course, it's got to be Beck's. I bet you had the hair, didn't you?
I had the hair, 100%, mate.
Yeah, you had the hair. Did you try his technique? Were you like?
I wasn't very good at that. I was like more of a striker, so I tried
taking free kicks like him, and it just.
I tried. I 100% tried, but I never owned Predators. I was never like that sort of footballer. So like I always avoided Predators because I was like, that's just not me. I'm like a number 9. Like number 9s don't wear Predators.
Were you in the Vapors?
I was always wearing Adidas World Cups.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. Love
the World Cups.
Yeah.
Titus Bramble, says Kieran. Love that. Gaza, Hazard, Glenn Hoddle, Perez. I met Perez the other day. Yapstam, Phil Jones, Sen, Hoddle, Sen, Busquets, Gaza, yeah. Saka Hislop.
Saka Hislop on the ledge.
A lot of Hoddles, or maybe that's the same person with the view from nowhere writing Hoddle over and over, which is fine. You can spam all you want in the next 30
you can spam as much as you want.
Guys, 30 seconds time or 10 seconds time. 5 of you will be allocated a membership, so do that. Kanchelskis, Colin Bell, Zidane.
Kanchelskis was great.
Kanchelskis was great. He
wouldn't really fit into modern day football the way we just like tear down. He'd have to play different. He'd have to be like a wing back or something, I guess.
Yeah, those wingers, even Beckham, like you look at modern football, you're like, would he be front three?
No,
I
Beckham would probably be like an inverted
centre mid.
fullback or something. I don't know.
Yeah, or like at the end of his career when he sort of was just spraying the diagonals.
Holding mid or something. Yeah, deep
Yeah.
line playmaker. Yeah.
Yari Lippmanen, Suarez. There it Klingsman. Oh, there we go. Steve got a membership. Samuel, Mark, Kian, love that. JJ Okocha, the man's so good they named him twice.
Oh yes.
Dean, what are your plans for the next few days? When are you coming to England?
My next few days are I'm going to San Diego FC versus LAFC on Saturday, and then on Sunday night I fly back to England. So I probably won't be on the Monday stream because I will probably just have landed and will be completely out of it.
Yeah, it feels like we have to do a Monday, although maybe we could do it. I don't know. Maybe it's a Tuesday instead of a Monday. I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, we could do a Tuesday deadline, I guess. I'll probably be more in state of mind for that. Maybe both. We'll see. We'll see what the producers think, but we will be back on at least Monday or Tuesday.
It'll either be Monday or Tuesday or even both, but we'll let you know. So get those notifications set and hopefully they will work. Big Man will be back with us next week. Big Man might even be close. He might even be on a wild card. So I don't know, but I just know he's around 30, 31 wild cards. So yeah, guys, Dean could also be on a wild card very soon.
Yeah, probably next one.
Yep. For that, I'll also show a wildcard draft on early next week as well. Guys, thank you for all your support. Like and sub on the way out, and we'll see you next time.